Greetings in such a disaster. You're now tuning inside out to another episode of
Castle Cat's Horror Potcat.
Meow. We move on to Halloween 2007. Rob Zombie's creation of the film.
Ooh.
His reimagining. Zombie tried his best to pay respects to John Carpenter since he was a fan of the original film, indeed.
So he shot the movie in Pasadena, California.
The same original neighborhood as the first one, despite the house being much different.
Right, well, he filmed it in 3 different homes. The exterior original, and then the upstairs was a different location, and the downstairs was another location. 3 places!
3 locations for the same building. Since when do they do that in a movie?
Well, since Rob Zombie started to direct. Also, since he was filming in Pasadena, like Carpenter, he had to deal with the creating 4 different seasons that don't exist in LA.
They started shooting this in, I believe, January? Which is
fair, but he actually hired the man just to be the leaf guy. Like, hey, we need leaf and from trees and lay it out on the floor for us.
They brought in an individual leaf and hand painted every single one and placed it particularly somewhere.
Right, and he had to collect them and then put the leaves back somewhere else for the scene. Serious zombie problems.
This film, so for me, is sort of a love-hate feeling about this film. Part of me hate the film, but part of me love it. I love that they have Brad Dourif as Sheriff Brackett, and I love they do a backstory for Michael Myers. He really recreated the character.
That was important for me.
It is said, he said he wanted to make it more realistic and violent, more authentic, giving a reason behind a psychopath. It sort of accomplished that, giving it the backstory about the child being abused and having signs of being a disturbed person, tormenting animals and such.
That's how it starts, I hear.
Being bullied by his home life as well as people at school until finally he snapped.
Like Rice Krispies.
Or like a twig between 2 strong arms, or the neck of one of his victims.
That was my next guess.
Most of the film, not most of the film, but nearly a good third of the film is all Michael's childhood. You get to see his mother's boyfriend screaming and degrading him and fighting and terrible home life. His sister not being very nice to him.
Haven't we all had a sister not very nice to us?
The mother being the only one who truly understands him.
Good old mom.
And he has to deal with the reality that she's a stripper trying to do her best, and everyone making fun of him for it at school.
When will kids grow up?
And he is already trying to hide his face and find a shelter behind the mask. And it shows an origins for the mask, not coming from Star Trek. Yet it's a mask that his sister's boyfriend was wearing when he decided he was not taking any more shit. Stabbed him to death after killing his stepfather, or so to speak. And then we also have a more in-depth look at Dr. Samuel Loomis, who this one's played by a Clockwork Orange Droogie. Droogie, what's his name? Malcolm McDowell.
I read that when Zombie gave Dowell and the kid who played young Michael Myers, that he just gave them an outline. He didn't tell one or the other what they were going to say, and he didn't give them a proper script. It was all improv, and he just told them these are questions you should ask, and so that we can get the genuine reaction from you both.
Very interesting, and it definitely seemed like genuine responses, very much bonding and losing grip. The frustration, the emotion is truly there. Very frustrating. And then, so this is the only time we have another actors playing Laurie Strode. We have Scout Taylor Compton, who's just screaming 2007 with her and her friend's wardrobe and glasses.
Cool. I mean, what?
This, I believe, was her second film to act in professionally. And we have, Rob Zombie uses some actors he's used in all of his films, making appearances. Bill Moseley, Sid Haig, Dee Wallace.
Interesting fact what Zombie did with his cast. Zombie has the characters watch the 50 horrors classic The Thing from another world on TV because that's what they were watching in the original. In a later scene, adult Michael deliberately stops to watch some more of the movie, having missed a lot of it because 15 years earlier he was busy killing his family. You know.
There is that completion anxiety that Nico was talking about in Cult of Chucky. Curse of Chucky.
You have to complete it and watch the rest of the movie.
There's many parts of the film I truly enjoy. It starts off with, similar to the original, but there's more of a hesitation between the lieutenant and Loomis, where he's trying to tell Dorif about, this type of crazy psychopath who has escaped at the hospital. And Sheriff Brackett do not want to believe it. He's telling him it's a small town, there's nothing to worry about. He's very hesitant in the first one, and he read Loomis's book, and he does not agree with him. He does not trust him. You see, Laurie Strode's parents get murdered in this one. Very vicious. It's much more terrifying. Of course, Zombie always taking the gore over the top. So it's bloody disgusting in a way that's not really fun or enjoyable. Not necessarily scary either, but it's just sort of like a... I don't know what that reminds me of. I'm not a big fan of those types of films where
I know you're not
the
a
blood's
fan
too
of.
dark and they're just... Oh, another thing with the films is everybody says fuck you, fuck you. That's half of the dialogue in all of his films.
Oh, that little
Fuck
boy,
you.
the little boy who played young Myers loved saying those curse words because he could not curse at home. So of course he was giggling.
As
You
any
could catch
10-year-old would.
you could kind of catch him giggling in some of the scenes when I say, "Look, he's gonna laugh." I believe these are real scenes where the actor is going to laugh, and proves it right. Another thing that was going on with the directing, Mr. Zombie had to use CGI. Did you know where?
Where did they use CGI?
Well, it had to do with Ken Foray. Ken Foray? Ken Foray. Zombie says he's had to use CGI to make sure Big Joe looked dead, as Foray kept breathing and blinking.
Sounds like a bad actor to me.
Ken is an amazing actor, but he's the worst dead body ever, Zombie said in the commentary.
They should have just killed him on set. Not really, but... So the face-offs too between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, pretty cool. He's trying to reconnect because this film actually showed the backstory of when she was a baby and he would call her Boo, and she was the only one who, besides the mother, who didn't, give him such a hard time that
Are you
he
talking
cared
about Baby
for.
Angel Laurie?
Angel Laurie, that he called
Right.
Boo. And the scene where he have her captured, he's going after her because it's the only sense of attachment, perhaps, or whatever his reasons are. It's his baby sister. After his mother kills herself in sadness and despair, without a care for Boo, he find her and tried to communicate it. Yet he's so far gone, all he can do is drag her into their old home and hand her a photograph of them, which is a very touching moment, but she completely does not understand or feel any sort of connection with Michael. That part started to get a little weird and old for me. It's like she's in the house, she escaped, and he Same thing he did with House of a Thousand Corpses, which is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She get out and she dragged back in. It just seemed like it goes on and on forever, and it's like, okay, are we still at this part where it's doing the same crap over and over again? Which they sort of do in a lot of the Halloween ones from the 80s. It's like, is this part ever going to end here in 4 or 5? Are they going to keep on hiding in the same room, go back to it? He think he's dead, he's not dead. But yeah, it's not a terrible film, but it's not an amazing film, but he definitely got very creative with it.
Yes, it's a background story for me.
Not as wonderful as his music by any means, or by a long shot, but Brad Dourif and the girl who played Laurie Strode really make it. And even, of course, everyone a fan of Malcolm McDowell. He played a very different, interesting take on Dr. Samuel Lewis.
A Clockwork Orange, man.
And then we go into, another thing that I will paste in before. Before Rob Zombie became the writer, director, and producer of Halloween 2007, the remake, they were considering in the writing a screenplay, different versions, to do a crossover with Hellraiser. They were not interested in trying to do so much as Michael Myers versus Pinhead or versus the Cenobites, but they're trying to cross it over in a more organic way. And they even had Clive Barker and Doug Bradley writing a script while they considered John Carpenter to direct the film. Many things were thrown around trying to bring back John Tate and Sheriff Brackett plotting to kill Michael Myers for revenge. They were going to start it. Originally, another version was going to be called Retribution, where Michael Myers killing Busta Rhymes' character Freddie Harris. Since they already shot him being killed 3 times and not used for the previous version. However, it got switched around this way, that way. They even considered trying to do like a prequel surrounding Michael Myers returning to Smith's Grove Sanitarium during the events of Halloween 3. Getting a little bit into his childhood. But the producers, Mustafa Akkad and his son Malek, were, there's lots of options. And then Mustafa Akkad passed away in 2005, and eventually it ended up in Rob Zombie's hands. John Carpenter gave him his blessing to do his own version and take out of it. And the producers really wanted him to do the same for the sequel, Halloween 2. Blah, I hate doing these. Blah.
I can see my voice.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 from 2009. So they skipped over 2008, which would have been the 30 years after the first one. So they were begging Zombie. They were down on their hands and knees with their mouths open, pleading for him to make a sequel. And then once he did, they never asked him again.
That's right. He brought in good money and he got too creative on the second round.
Plus, he was really trying to change things up with his films by putting his wife in the film.
Right, he wanted her to get part of... What?
If you're listening to this, you have ears. So, the film is okay, in my opinion. As I was saying, the film is okay.
It's alright. I wouldn't watch it again.
Brad Dourif was the best part of the film, pretty much the first or second main protagonist.
You're the second person who said that.
Well, he is pretty much. Besides, what's her name? The Laurie Strode character, who, for some reason, meow, she has become a much more interesting character.
I like the way they recycled her.
Yes, they put her in the bin with her feet up, and they took her away in that big recycling truck.
No, I mean the actress.
And they bring her back, and she very angsty. She now buy her jeans with the cuts inside of them.
Oh, she's rebel.
She's a total Ramon. She work at the record store. She have all these nightmares where she had the violent tendency, urges.
She changed her name to Sheena.
And she's more entertaining than she was in the first one. However, it's strange because it's a huge character shift for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's...
Because she's playing Brad Dourif's daughter or
No,
stepdaughter?
Her...
Oh, no, her
daughter's
daughter.
No.
Wait, she's playing Brad Dourif's daughter.
No, he adopted her or she's staying with them.
Oh, right.
Danielle Harris is her daughter.
I thought we were still talking about Danielle Harris this whole time.
No, we're talking about Laurie Strode.
Right, left.
I don't remember which... I can't recall the character name because I'm such a huge fan.
Well, now that the audience is up to,
Now that the audience is as confused as we are. She's a more interesting character, as sad to show. Like, perhaps it is in her genetics, of her mind, of her genes. I know the mind and genetics are two separate things, sort of, but not really.
It's her destiny. Her density. Density.
She's falling into her density to be violent as Michael. Although... it's meow that she has been triggered by his attack from the first one, the way he was triggered from neglect and all of that sort of things.
Triggered is a real thing.
So yeah, she's more interesting, she's more deranged and strange. She's sort of a complete bitch.
She gets sexier later, especially when she's in the Halloween outfit, the maid outfit with all that blood.
Oh, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
The left.
Yeah, she looks good that way. Any female in a maid outfit splattered in blood is erect to DVD.
I was gonna give a shout out to So, but then you said erect. I'm like, that's kind of weird.
So anyway. So she she's a more interesting character. Danielle Harris is just kind of stuck in between where she oh, my friend's becoming a fucking bitch to me and my father crazy.
I mean, can you blame Danielle Harris for being a bitch to her later? I mean, she had to deal with her bullshit drama of her destiny.
Huh? Yeah, when she finally flip out at Laurie Strode, it's understandable completely. And there's no room other... I don't know. The movie's whatever. I really like Brad Dourif in it. He's an interesting character. He's more...
I didn't even realize it was Brad Dourif either.
Your problem, dear.
I couldn't I was this close to watching it again just to see him deliver, be that character. But it's embedded in, it's burned in my brain.
A very intense actor. You look at his eyeballs, they look the same as when he was Billy Babbitt.
Duh, it's the same person.
Prove it.
Last.
So the first film, Dr. Loomis tried to convince him that they need the help. And this film is sort of switched around where Sheriff Brackett is very on edge, very careful. He understands what he's dealing with with Michael Myers and the trauma and the violence and everything.
Do you think Rob Zombie was just thinking, I'm gonna switch it up, and by switching it up, I'm gonna literally switch the roles around, where the psychologist is glorified in the fame of figuring out who, Mike Myers and all that crap, and then the officer is all intense like the other psychiatrist was in the last movie, the original.
Well, he said he wanted to... The whole thing with Dr. Loomis being a huge megastar jerkwad exploiting Michael Myers was based off of, what's his name, the lawyer who tried against Charles Manson, and then he wrote books on it afterwards to capitalize and build his career off of Manson.
How Hollywood.
So it was a total reference to that. I think Zombie really wanted to create his own film, and he was given a budget and he had to use the characters. It was a sequel.
Yeah, he said there was like what 50% of the original content, and he.
Especially in the beginning when
So
it
was half of it was his original idea. So
you have those stupid white horses. For some reason, you have the mother Sherry
Oh,
Zombie.
we're talking about two.
Duh.
This is why that's not making any sense at all. Catnip, don't do it, kids. Okay, so yeah, all right, no wonder. Fuck. Well, that one sucked worse than the first one.
Brad Dourif was the best part of both of those films.
That's it.
All I have to say.
He said it. That's it. You're not the first one to have said that.
Michael Myers in the second one made zero sense. He was just wandering around, living out on the grid. His outfit
Didn't they show his
completely
face
changed.
in the movie?
You see his face multiple times.
That really destroyed the whole image, the whole facade, the whole
The character
Michael Myers. It really ruined it for me.
The first film, he's obsessed with wearing a mask at all times. This one, he hardly wear it.
And then he spoke.
There's different versions where he speak, and then version where he don't
Grunts.
at the end.
Kind of grunts. Grunting counts, everything.
It was also made zero sense to me when the mother would reappear. In the first one, she was originally a character who had she did not have ill intent. She did not want her son to be messed up or killing people. However, on this one, it was like she was
encouraging him, right? It's like her character changed from alive when she was alive and didn't want Myers to kill, versus when he's dead and she's encouraging him and even leading him to.
So perhaps
maybe
it was his
just
hallucination.
it was all a figment of his imagination.
Yeah. So her character very different, his character Michael Myers very different, Shirt Brackett's character different but still consistent enough. Laurie Strode character completely different but totally understandable, justifiable, and enjoyable.
So what it comes down to is, do we enjoy these changed roles and character changes? Are we all right with them? Is this what makes us unfamiliar and therefore hating it?
I do not give 2 cuts and a swipe. I want to give 2 bites and a claw for Michael Myers as it is. But this was probably the worst version of him I have ever witnessed with my eyeballs.
And we like Rob Zombie.
Yes. Big, huge fan of his music.
Yeah, we love you, but not a fan of the movie.
As a matter of cat, my second favorite part besides the dynamic between Sheriff Brackett, his daughter, and Laurie Strode, that was my favorite part. The second part I really enjoyed about the film was those flashback scenes where it's not flashback scenes, but the dream-like, very surreal, sort of reminded me of the old silent films or Rob Zombie's earlier music videos, where you have the weird Alice in Wonderland type of table with the characters and the mother.
Yeah, when I heard that Zombie did Halloween, I was expecting what you see or saw in his old music videos. Music videos.
No, it's pretty much the same thing as House of a Thousand Corpses repeated over and over again.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd go for that old 40s, 50s horror, I know.
Which he say those are his favorite films from the 30s and 40s.
Right, it's his favorite, but he's definitely not inspired by it.
Or come out in a different way. He tried to make it more realistic.
Yeah.
As his own film, it's an interesting piece. Very different from all the others, with the exception of Season of the Witch, so it's alright. Without Brad Dourif and those dream sequences, I would hate the film, probably.
Yes.
Okay, so that's that film.
Instability, fuck reality, fucks with me every single day. Instability, fuck reality, fucks with me every single day. People are not conscious, fuck consciousness, no conscious and conscious. Feel hopeless, so the day is suspicious. To all are blind, to what I've missed, the day is suspicious. To all are blind, is what I've missed. Oh, say you know you get it. When, where, why? Always on the page. Living a fictional story, but it's more than my dream. No, clench your teeth and piss the 40. You live 4 times, hitting the 4 course. Boy, same old story. Tell again with the right of the beat. Reason in the past, need in the day. I swear they're okay. Oh, cat, are you kidding? When, where, why? Always on the gun, screaming. Fuck, good till the shell suck. Not a jet, not a break, just a stick. Music, with your name, without it. Spin my finger, take a shit. Instability, fuck reality. It fucks with me every single day. Instability, fuck reality. It fucks with me right now. Saying, are you kidding? When, where, why? Don't sound like you're screaming. Fuck, good till it shells, son. Not a dick, not a brick. This is it, music. Within it, without it. Just pick my pick and take a shit. Instability, wrong reality. Don't fuck yourself with what you say. Instability, wrong reality. Don't fuck yourself with the words you say. Shift your own future. You can paint it ever how more running glitter. So me now, cause and effects with special effects and the cause and effect with the custom effect. Yeah.
Meow. Halloween 2018. The remake no one wanted.
And Katpira hesitatedly here.
I saw this in the movie theaters, and my thoughts afterwards were, okay. It was entertaining, it was fun, it was stupid.
Sure. So,
So-
it was my thoughts were, was it necessary?
Well, the one thing that they did differently from the original, which they couldn't have done originally before, was they shot it in high definition.
All right, that's worth making a movie for.
So you have the stupid podcaster show up. The intro is very cool because it's pretty much the same exact thing from the original film but played in reverse. The music is pretty much the same, but they put more of a bassy beat to
So
it.
they should have called it Halloween Resurrected. Jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, they already had
Redo.
the resurrection.
Redo. I'm being ridiculous, just like I thought the remake was ridiculous to do again. But people love it and they want it, so there you are, you bastards, and here's your review.
Yeah, so sit
We love
back
you.
and choke on this.
We love you.
What do I have to say about the film? The most memorable scene to me is the bathroom scene when the podcasters get murdered by Michael Myers.
Sure, it was an ode to the like the last one. They had some similar death scenes, right?
Probably.
Like the little girl and the mother in the public gas station restroom, remember? Or the abandoned restroom, remember when Myers came and attacked and the little girl was like sinking and she's like, oh, here, honey, you're there, here's your toilet paper or whatever. She hands her the toilet paper between the stalls and then Jason comes in and the mother's like,
Jason come in.
oh, sorry.
Wait, which one was that? Was that this one?
No,
No.
see, that's what I'm saying. They did like an ode to the to that other death scene. You know, the one we were supposed to forget about. I think that was an H2O maybe.
That was not H2O.
Oh,
no.
okay. Well, we'll figure it out.
It wasn't the resurrection either. Just recording. So, you're correct. It was from Halloween, H2O with the daughter in the restroom.
Oh, I was correct. That hardly happened, so I'm going to
We're going-
relish in it.
We're going to
Anybody got the vegan hot dog to put this relish on?
loop it over and over again.
That sounds good to me. Okay, anyway.
Can't believe I forgot about that. That's my second favorite one.
Sure, but I guess we're supposed to forget that H2O ever happened, so they just put that they just put the same death scene in there.
Yeah, so this one have nothing to do with Rap Zombies films, and it have nothing to do with 2 through 7.
This is weird. This whole concept that I have to forget about these past movies is telling me that I need to live in an alternate universe. I'm not down with that. I'm still trying to
sort of live in an alternate reality.
I'm still trying to simulate my own life, let alone remember what other people want me to forget their past simulations and past creations. It's a bit much to ask from the audience, but some people like different versions of it, and I guess that's their goal.
You know the 3 characters I found very uninteresting in this film?
Who?
Was Laurie Strode, her daughter, and her granddaughter.
Yeah, I'm
and
used
the daughter's
to
boyfriend.
the daughter.
And the
I'm used to
husband.
seeing her in movies like 13 Going on 30 as the mean girl best friend, or movies like What Women Want, the mousy girl that doesn't get noticed. And she's always in romantic comedies. All of a sudden, she pops up and she's in Halloween 2018. Again, who's casting this crap?
I've never seen those films because I like good films, like the one that in crap talking meow.
Anyway.
So they do some sort of cool things. Well, it's the Halloween kills. So Halloween
Yeah. Also,
2018.
wait. Also, while we're on the subject, her daughter. Again, we're supposed to forget about Halloween H2O, and that she had a son.
If she never had a son, and she never had a daughter named after the actress.
Anyone could easily get confused on this whole shit.
Well, you just go from Halloween to the new sequel reboot called Halloween. So that's stupid there.
Yeah.
It's a direct sequel to Halloween. What it called? It called Halloween.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Michael Myers is now old, bald with a beard, which is a terrible combination.
Yo, Jesus and Christ, what do you think about this?
The podcasters suck. There's no Loomis. Laurie Strode's whole entire life has been ruined. She's been living in fear and terror ever since, ruining her daughter's life.
That is one thing I appreciate, is the mother's cycle given with great, reason and understanding, because her brother is Michael, and it shows strength in her character. She's a strong woman. She's not letting herself be, not living her life or be threatened. She's still living it and drinking alcohol all the way through.
Oh, the daughter?
No, the mother. She's an alcoholic. They didn't want to invite the mother to certain things, right? Because, she's an alcoholic, and she's making a scene because
she's paranoid.
Remember, she's PTSD over here, post-traumatic stress,
I know people who have walked into their apartments to find their entire family murdered by an axe-murderer, and they did not lock themselves away as Laurie Strode did and such.
But she was always planning and
Why is Michael Myers after her anyway? They're not related anymore, but he wants to kill her, and he waits 40 years later to finally...
Well, let's just put it this way. He's always killing somebody. You gotta nuke something, you gotta nuke someone.
There's so many people he could have killed along the way.
He's got the personal vengeance for her, and as does she with him.
Why did he not go after little Tommy in this one? He survived, the little girl survived.
Probably by accident.
At least it makes sense where he get the mask, because those stupid podcasters had his mask.
Yeah, what are podcasters doing with his mask?
Who make a podcast anyway? Some sort of idiots?
Yeah, dummies.
Glad we never do
Anyway,
that.
on our next podcast subject.
So I'm trying to think of redeemable things about the film. It has some pretty cool, gnarly kill scenes. The kid who died getting stuck on the fence was pretty good. I'm trying to remember who else died. The whole part where they booby trap him into the house was very... No, it was not very entertaining. It was sort of entertaining.
It was clever.
It was clever. It was a booby trap.
I'm glad that they didn't make the female lead meek, not... Give me some good adjectives here.
Weak.
She's not weak. Positive adjective. Strong.
survive-
Aggressive.
The survivor girls in horror films are never weak. But you could tell she'd been hanging out with Kevin McAllister to booby trap her house that way.
And Tim Burton.
Her and Nancy Thompson from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I like
Her,
those
Kevin
clever
McAllister,
booby
Laurie
trap,
Strode.
clever booby trap type characters. What was another movie where this girl had booby traps and she read the book on booby traps?
Well, there was Total Recall. No, she just had 3 boobies. So they lower Michael in after the husband die, Laurie Strode almost die. They probably could have done this a much better way,
I
but
think there's too many almost dyings versus actual deaths.
they eventually lower him into the basement, and the whole house burst into flames, and he survived in the second one, which we'll start talking about. Meow. Halloween Kills 2021.
With Count Cat and...
Cat Pyra.
There you go.
I was confused.
I introduced you this time.
Switching it up.
Switching it up here.
So the whole part of Let It Burn, that was supposed to be a line from, I believe, the end of the second film when they blew him up and he burned to death the first time. So this film opened up with them on the back of the truck driving to the hospital, and they watch all the fire trucks and ambulances rush towards her house, and she say, "Let it burn."
Imagine if they let it burn and then Myers ends up coming out from the other side with Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, that'd be more interesting than the film itself.
Someone, quick, give me a pen and paper.
So everyone, for some reason, hated this film. To me, it is just as terrible and wonderful as most of the films. The whole part with Tommy, who is, you know, the nerdy kid from the Breakfast Club, or the bully from Edward Scissorhands.
Oh yeah, Michael Anthony Hall.
Yes, he's
Ma, as I like to call him.
He's meow wider than he is tall, and he have a buzz cut.
He's older. It's gonna happen.
That was another cool thing they did with this film. They brought back characters who were in the original one.
Like the Richards, Miss Richards, the one that was in the original, the little girl. She's Miss Richards now. She's on Beverly Hills Housewives or something like that.
Well, she is smoking.
Well,
She was my favorite part of the entire
smoking.
film. Literally. She was my favorite part of the entire film.
Interesting.
She's so good looking.
I wonder if we're talking about the same person. But she's
the girl with black hair.
Yeah, the woman.
Fully
she's
grown
woman.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
who tried to save the little kids at the park. She
Oh,
get chased around the woods
that's
by
Richards.
the
That
river.
is Richards. That's Richards. She's also, little known fact, Paris Hilton's aunt. First aunt.
Really?
Yeah, her mom's sister.
Interessante.
She's they all starred as children actors, children stars. Her mother, Paris, was a child star. Her sister, other sister, was in.
Paris Hilton was a child star.
No, her aunts and mother.
Oh, interesting.
They are not Hiltons. They are Richards.
Little Richards.
Little Rich. I think they're Richards. I'm not sure, but yeah.
So it was cool how they brought back those characters from the original one, and they had someone dressed in prosthetics to look like Dr. Loomis, who looked very close in the beginning, and they also created 2 new characters and tried to pretend that they were there in the original.
That's cool. I like good prosthetics.
Good. They had that other little kid, and they had the other cop. See how good we do our research? The other kid and the other cop.
You fill in name here.
Totally not in the original film, but they do the flashback scenes and they make it seem like a crazier night, and they add in these characters to try to lure people to be attached to them. So that was a combination of genius and just how dare you.
Yeah.
And then it's very flawless the way they transition from the end of the previous film into this film, which is very similar to what they did, of course, with the original Halloween and Halloween 2. So I thought that was beautiful. They make Halloween seem more like Halloween, adding in, again, more trick-or-treaters and more fall leaves here and there.
Yeah, that's one thing you hardly see in these Halloween movies is trick-or-treaters.
And
More treaters, or tricks.
my second favorite part of the film was simply the same thing with the previous one. They had the silver shamrock masks on the
Silver
trick-or-treaters.
chamois.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, go on.
And the whole scene with everyone. So this one, it's all the people are trying to hunt down Michael Myers. Evil dies tonight. For some reason,
It gave you a sense of community.
everyone hated this, according to what I saw on the interweb. It was a stupid slogan, the evil die tonight, because when you're committing murder, it's considered evil or whatever, regardless. But it really show mob mentality, which we've seen a lot of this in the past few years when it comes to, one person does one thing and everyone else sort of follow. The training of thought shifts in a group versus when it's all solely individuals or 2-on-2. So that whole everything with them going after the car inside the hospital when they kill the other escaped mental patient, all of that was sort of a tragic, realistic. To me, it was the most realistic part of the entire film. That humans, are so stupid when they are in large groups together. I mean, how do you think the Nazis came to be? There was enough people together that were stupid enough to fucking convince themselves that they were all going to do this mass murdering genocide.
To allow some loud speaking dumbass to convince them to and think for them. Because
it's like the brain just goes left out of the window.
It's like they have one thing. It's like they have one thing in common, and they just give their complete power to that dumbass.
They're not thinking through or something, and they're just running with it. In that film, this is why I don't like humans. But that's the film. I thought did a good job at that, even if all the characters and it happening was very irritating. It was very realistic to me. And at the end, where they're all trying to kick the shit out of Michael Myers, and he just started killing them. It's just show again how powerful Michael Myers is.
Did you root for Myers too?
Not really. I didn't. I wasn't sure who to root for. I was more just watching it.
I was laughing. I just thought it was hilarious. I thought, what's going to happen? Is they really gonna just let him die, or is he? That was I was kind of confused and excited, and it took me for a turn, and I enjoyed that part. But whether I agreed with any of it, I just thought, why doesn't anyone just shoot for his head? I'm
Just
like,
shoot him in the fucking head.
Yeah.
Shoot his eyes out.
Yeah, grab him, bulge him, do something, get in that mask and just bite it a little.
If someone trying to kill you, you go for their eyes. Then you go for their fingers, their arms, their legs.
I hate fighting. I've only gotten fights when people attack me, and I go on attack mode.
Cat
defense
scratch.
mode. But for the most part, it's not something that I would ever recommend. It's something everyone should walk away from unless they're being held with a knife.
Yes, we are against fighting. Just get the gun.
Yeah.
And then, so, the part, it was hilarious to me, the woman with the gun, when they're trying to kill Michael Myers inside the SUV at the park, and they pretty much, Michael Myers just wiped them all out. He killed the nurse, unfortunately, again. He killed her in H2O, he killed her in this one.
Yeah, because we're supposed to forget that H2O ever happened, so they're just reenacting H2O shit.
Which is fine. We wish to forget most of these films happened in Twitter. But I thought it was a really cool scene, and then when the girl's pointing the gun and he closed the door and hits her hand and she shoots herself in the face. It was hilarious to me. And then the whole bonding situation in the hospital between the police officer and Laurie Strode. Whatever.
I don't care.
One thing I thought was really stupid, I wasn't sure if it was just some sort of a publicity stunt where people were saying, this film's too violent, it crossed the line. It really didn't cross any lines. We've seen people get murdered all these ways before.
Seen worse.
That kid...
Human Centipede.
Yeah, that film, no. Like the whole argument, there was some stupid motherfucker trying to say the film was homophobic because a gay couple which
died.
Was another one of my favorite parts, was that gay couple, Little John and Big John.
Right.
The one actor from the Mad TV.
I remember now.
you know why Big John was Big John, because Big John was younger and shorter than the other John, so we know where the big part come into hand.
Oh, I
there.
know now. I'm sexy.
But I thought they were very interesting characters. Like, they had some style and taste, sort of, and they lived in the old Myers house. They were fucking with the little kids who tried to fuck with
It's
them.
all coming back to me.
They put up a fight with Michael Myers. To me, it was entertaining. There was nothing homophobic or anti-homosexual about that.
Yeah, I
You have
think
gay characters.
that's
Everyone
the-
in horror films is going to get killed.
It's inevitable.
Yes, there's no. They weren't the first to die.
All right.
They weren't. It wasn't solely homosexuals being murdered. There was two pretty cool characters, short-lived in this film. However, when Big John said something to the dummy on the porch with the pitchfork, I was expecting him to die from the pitchfork. I thought that was going to come
No
back
death.
around.
No death.
No dice there. And the old couple, people probably thought it was crossing the line when the old couple was murdered. Why not? They're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
What's so sensitive about them being old?
It's just I think people put too much emphasis on things that aren't real or don't affect them.
They were overweight enough to have enough muscle strength to defend themselves just as much as a weak child or teenager.
If people believe that these movies were manifested after they're made, then they have bigger problems.
Yeah, so that was another great scene. He killed the old people. Also reminiscent of the original Halloween 2 when he come in and he steal a butcher knife. I don't believe he killed that old woman, but this time he killed both of them. It was great.
Good for him. He killed.
I'm not
someone.
saying go
Good for
around
him.
and kill old people.
No,
They'll
of
do
course
that
we're
to
all. This is
themselves
all
eventually.
happy stuff in movies, and let's keep it in movies, people.
What else did people think was crossing the line?
I learned this is not based on a true story.
Or it was? There. Was it this film here where he tried to kill someone in, what's her name?
They pulled on his
I should have done the
mask.
research. The
You got a laptop,
the
right?
hot woman who was the little girl on the first one.
Richards.
She pulled the mask off of him and it distract him, and he like, I have to fix this before I kill, and that's how she get away from him.
That's smart.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
She went for the vanity, the one thing she knows about.
Yeah.
And the only thing I know is that's quite 1333.
It was. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about this film. It was
alright.
I liked it. I enjoyed it better than the one before it, for the most part. The hospital scenes, some of them were kind of, but I really enjoyed seeing when the people are trying to take matters into their own claws, and
Right,
the one sheriff is trying to keep law and order, and he's like, you are not the police, I am the police. That was an interesting dynamic.
Out of 5 tails, how many tails do you give it? I'll tell you. I give you
2.5.
Oh, I gave it 3 tails. Okay. Yeah.
I'm right there in the middle with it.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it as much as I could care less for it. I would watch it again. The one before this, I've seen twice. I don't care to ever see again. Rob Zombie's films, don't really want to see those again, other than for Brad Dourif.
I would like to see Zombie direct something colorful like he did in his Astro Creep days.
Even his newer music videos, we listen to the radio. Oh, dead
Just tell us
radio.
the name of the song, please.
I don't remember. Dead Radio. But it's a great music video.
Oh, okay.
Or everyone fucking in a UFO. You should see some of his new music
show
videos.
clips
They're
of it.
pretty good. Well, that's all the time we have here. We'll just have to wait next year for the 3rd installment of the Halloween reboot, and we will not do a podcast on that. So
Meow.
don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear us talk more bullshit about things that we love and hate.
Love and hate. Meow.
We're planning on only doing 2 more episodes next for Nightmare on Elm Street series, which we love.
I love Nightmare on Elm
Much
Street.
more than the Halloween series.
So
we
we'll
love
be
it.
more enthusiastic and have a lot more
Yes.
facts for you.
But we are planning on that being the last one. Unless the audience want more, let us know.
Let us know, please.
Count Cat and Cat Pyra tuning out.